Now let us say you have paid the taxes also, you have filed the returns also, and if by chance you've paid excess money, excess taxes are being paid, then you will have to apply for refund. Obviously, when you pay excess taxes, either you adjust it in future returns or you request the department to give a refund. In the case of refund, you should ensure that you submit a complete information in the application to the department to the proper officer of IGST, CGST or SGST as the case may be. And there is some time limit within which refund should be applied, and in normal circumstances it is 2 years from the relevant date, and if the amount is paid under protest then there is no time limit. But if it is paid in normal circumstances, the time limit is 2 years from the relevant date. GST impact analysis. Now GST is such a big tax reform, and because of it every business, every shopkeeper, every dealer, every manufacturer, every service provider and even every department will be impacted. So have you thought about the impact of GST on various businesses or various departments, etc.? If not, it is high time we do it now. Let us see the impact on various departments. First of all, costing. As you are aware that the various taxes will be subsumed in GST, several taxes will be subsumed in GST, and it is because of that there will be a single tax GST now, except for those taxes which will still be levied and which have not been subsumed in GST. And obviously the cascading effect of taxes will not be there. The tax on tax that we were paying earlier in prior to GST will not be there. So obviously this will result in lower amount which will be available to the user or the consumer. So obviously the costing will come down. And it is not that costing, my own costing will come down, the costing of the suppliers from which I am purchasing will also come down. So I not only want to see the impact on my own business, I have to see the impact on my suppliers' business also, because of this impact of taxes, etc., because of other reasons the costing is coming down for them, then I need to ask them to lower the rate for me, because now the product is becoming cheaper, so he should pass on that benefit to me also. Now cross credit availability is also there. Earlier for service tax and excise duty we could take the benefit of input taxes amongst the two, but the same was not available from VAT of different state laws. But now that will go, because there will be a single GST and the credit will be available across IGST. Obviously CGST and SGST they can be used for within the state, and for CGST for CGST only and SGST for SGST only. Then another impact could be that earlier there was a higher rate of tax. Let's say your product was covered under a 12.5% tax rate. Now in the GST regime the rate has come down to 5%. Then also there will be an impact on the cost. Whatever the supplier is supplying to you, or if you are supplying to the consumers, then in that case there would be an impact on costing. Coming to supply chain management. In GST again things could change, because probably earlier we had multiple registrations because we had one nation and several taxes, several registrations, though it will still continue in GST to a large extent. But in some cases at least we will need to review as to whether we can have a single registration or lesser number of registrations as compared to the pre-GST regime, because the entry barriers between the various states largely they will go. So because of that reason we could consider that we should have lesser number of registrations, or a single registration for, let's say, specific items, customer made items, etc. Similarly, we could also consider whether we should have a single godown or multiple godowns, or within the same state we should have different godowns, or we should have godowns across the country or in various regions, etc. These decisions again will be impacted because of GST, and we should take a decision now, because once GST comes then probably in some cases it will be late. So you can think of that. Then transportation costs will also come down, logistic costs will come down in GST because transportation will be faster. So whatever diesel etc. they are wasting standing outside the entry barriers etc. that will go, transportation will be faster, and that way it is expected that the transportation costs will also come down. So again that will affect the supply chain management. Then another sector that will be impacted will be the IT infrastructure. IT, because everything is being used, for everything IT is being used these days. Information technology is the buzzword, we are aware. And now we will need to continue that legacy that we are carrying on, that computers and the hardwares and the softwares, how they will function post GST. Whether whatever is required under GST, the softwares that we are using presently, will they be able to fulfill that? Whether we are using Tally, whether we are using Busy, whether we are using SAP, whether they will coming out with patches, software updates, etc., which will help us in filing the returns under GST, or some external utilities will be required with which we can file the returns. That needs to be seen. Then filing of returns will be quite complex in GST, because here we will have to give line item wise data in GST. So if we have 100 invoices and let us say there are 10 items in each of these invoices, then 1000 line items will be there in your return. So is your software capable of exporting this data, whatever accounting software you are using, whatever ERP package that you are using, it is sufficient? Will it help you to export the data from the software and then import in the for filing of returns, etc.? That needs to be seen. The reconciliation will have to take place. Whatever input credit that you are using of your suppliers, that needs to be reconciled with whatever sales that you are purchases that you are showing and the sales that they are showing. Once they file the returns, they pay the taxes only, then only you will be able to get the credit. So are software systems good enough to help us in that? Then presently also we are having normal MIS, management information report systems, etc. in various businesses, particularly in big and medium businesses. A lot of MIS is being generated. So whether the existing computer systems and the softwares are sufficient for generating those, or even changes have to be made in them. So all these things will definitely be considered and they should be done before GST comes into play. Otherwise it will be too late. Next is finance management. Costing we have already talked about, but besides that some other factors will affect our working capital requirements. One is very important, that even branch transfers from one state to another will be taxable. GST will have to be paid if you are making branch transfers from your Delhi office to your Mumbai office. Within the state, that is from within Delhi, from one branch office to another branch office, from Karol Bagh to let's say Kirtinagar you are transferring, then in that case no taxes to be paid. But if you are transferring from one state to another, then in that case that branch transfer will also be taxable. That is not your cost, obviously. The other branch office which is to whom you are supplying will be able to take input credit of the same, but he will be able to take the benefit only when he has sold the product and he has recovered the taxes. So there will be obviously some time lag between them, and because of this time lag some additional working capital requirement will be there. So you need to be aware about that. Then if you have multiple registrations, then you will have input credits available at some places. You will have to pay output taxes at other places. The two will not be able to be set off. Again, the working capital requirement will be increased because of these reasons. Similarly, purchases by exports, exempted units, etc. Even in these cases, the export units, etc., they will have to pay taxes on their inputs and they will have to claim refunds later on. It is because of all these things the working capital requirement will increase, and this even needs to be worked out beforehand. Compliances. Compliances are definitely going to increase manifold under GST. We have already talked about returns. That is a big compliance, and there are multiple returns for each registration. Monthly returns have to be filed by regular suppliers, and even you have a single registration, let's say of Delhi, in that case you will have to file a minimum 3 returns per month. For 12 months there will be 36 returns. Add to that the annual return. For each registration you have 37 returns. So you can well imagine for people or suppliers who will have multiple registrations, they will have to file so many returns. Multiple returns also means paying multiple taxes, filing multiple returns, and be also ready for separate assessments, separate demands, separate refunds. It's not that you have refund in one registration and demand in another registration. You cannot adjust the two. You have to pay the demand there. If there's some interest, there's some delay, there's some penalty that has to be paid, and if there is some refund, then you can ask for the refund separately. The two cannot be clubbed, the two cannot be adjusted. You'll also have to deal with multiple authorities, the central government authorities, the state government authorities, even the different state government authorities will remain. For Delhi, there are different authorities. For Maharashtra, there are different tax officials. So these compliances, a lot of compliance will be there for the businesses, and obviously professionals, chartered accountants and other professionals can help here the businesses, because it will be very difficult for the businesses to handle this compliance burden, and definitely a lot of staff needs to be increased. The infrastructure, the computer systems, they have also to be increased to handle the additional pressure. Is it too early to prepare for GST? Now, as it seems quite evident that GST will not come into effect from 1st of April 2017. So some people have taken a sigh of relief that, oh, it is not coming on the 1st of April 2017. So what? Now the next date is 1st of July 2017. Is that very far off? And it is quite evident, and the government is quite categorical that earlier it was meant on the date of 1st April. Now it is saying the date of 1st of July 2017. Even if it does not come from 1st of July 2017, but it comes from 16th September 2017, which is the last date by which GST should come into operation. Why? Because on that date, other taxes, earlier taxes, whether it is service tax, whether it is different VAT, whether it is entry tax, it is entertainment tax, all those taxes will cease to exist. So can we have a situation where there is no indirect tax, whether the central government or the different state governments can afford to have no tax regime? Obviously that is not possible, and so it is clear it will come by 1st of July or latest by 16th of September. So even if it comes by 16th of September, are we ready for it? Are we prepared for it? I think the answer is a very big no. Because many of us are not prepared. We have not gone through the model GST law, the draft rules, etc., the various formats, etc. We have not attended various seminars, webinars, e-learning modules, etc. But it is high time that we start all this. Learning is important, and training is important, and you have to have that. Once you are through with that, then only you can go further, then only you can go for detailed things, detailed understanding, analysis, etc., impact analysis, etc. How can you do when you do not know what the law is all about? So please start now, buy books, attend seminars, go through the model GST law, the draft rules, etc. And it is high time. And if you have started, that is very good. But now the time is to progress from the basics to the specifics. To general information, the fundamental information most of the people have also. at least let's say 50% of the people have, but what about the balance 50%? So now they have to start from the beginning, and those who have already started have to go to the specifics. They have to read in between the lines. What is the import of law? What the law wants to say at a particular place? And have we taken care of transitional provisions that we just now talked about? Again, very important, and the right time to do something about that is now. If you are waiting till GST, then probably it will be too late, and probably you'll be losing important input tax credit on your stocks and in other cases also. Change management. Everything is going to change. The transaction restructuring will be there. Even the computer systems need to be, and the computer softwares need to be upgraded, updated, or new patches need to come. So much is to be done. So are you ready for that change management? Please assess the requirements. Please prepare a checklist of things which are to be done, so that we do not miss out anything important and we are on the correct track of GST. We have to understand the impact of GST on industry in general and our company or our business in particular. It is very important, because they are saying it is a game-changing law. It is a revolution. So it is a revolution for you also, and it can have a positive impact also. It can be having a negative impact also. But first of all, we need to work out what that impact is. Whether it is positive or negative will come later once you do the detailed working. So that is very important. So that was all about the fundamentals of GST. This was something very basic for a basic understanding of GST. But if you want to know more about GST, please go through the various detailed modules which are available in this